Here is my quick and dirty review of the Gamo MP9 pistol. It's a great gun, in short, but let me tell you a little bit more about it. It's a beast of a gun. There's my size 9 hand on the gun. It's a heavyweight gun. It's a largely plastic body, in fact it's an all plastic, or as we're supposed to call them these days, polymer. It's a polymer body. It doesn't feel particularly bad though. The only thing that feels particularly plastic to me is this extension here, which is a sort of dummy magazine, if you like. That removes to get at the CO2 cylinder. Depressing that button there will extract the CO2 cylinder. It's got a flip down tool on it there, so you don't need to carry any tools to change your CO2, which is a good and useful feature. That can stay in place. It only needs to come off when you're changing the CO2, otherwise it stays on like that. It uses a stick magazine. It's not a standard stick magazine, and it's quite a long length, and it's two 8-shot at either end, 8-shot rotary magazine. The magazine is simply inserted into the hole there in the bottom of that dummy magazine. Press until it clicks, and that's it, it's there. The magazine release is here, which is not a great position really, and it's a slide sideways rather than up and down. Okay, so you need to comes out with some force, as you could just see there. So you do need to keep your hand over the end, otherwise that would go flying off into the scenery. The gun has a blade in the middle of the trigger, so the trigger is metal, but the blade inside is plastic, but it's another level of safety. So unless your finger is depressing that blade inside the trigger will not fire. The other safety is operated with your trigger finger from this side of the gun, and clicking that through reveals a red dot on this side, so you know it's now ready to fire. So this is a physically large pistol, and it will not fit in a standard small pistol case by any means. You'll need to buy the biggest of the Flambeau pistol cases. Model number 1711 of the Flambeau cases is a good fit for this. It's just necessary to remove the magazine cover, and it fit nicely into the Flambeau case. I'll just show you that now. So here it is. It's the MP9 sitting in the interior of the Flambeau 1711 case, and you can see it's a snug fit. Even with the sight fitted, it'll now fit nicely, give you a little bit of room for some accessories as well. You know, do yourself a favour really. If you're buying a pistol, buy a case. It will protect the pistol, and it will protect others from that pistol. So if you've got children in the house, then these pistol cases will take a padlock on either side there, so both catches can be locked. So get a couple of little padlocks as well, and make sure kids can't get their hands on a gun unless you're there giving them expert adult supervision. So there it is. This is a big gun, and it needs a big case. This pistol is full of features, frankly. There's the charging handle on the back. So for the first shot after installing a new CO2 cylinder, you'll need to just pull that back once. After that, it does have blowback action to recock the hammer. So there's nothing much sliding on the outside of the gun, so you're not wasting air. but it is recocking it so it will then fire sort of semi-automatic for you. On this side you can see that the handle flips up, flips out and locks back here, and you've got a stock of sorts. I say of sorts because it is plastic and it is fairly flimsy. However, to shoot from the shoulder now, it's even though it is so light, it does steady the gun beautifully. There is just the indent there for the ejection port, so it's not a cutout. And again, some of these other controls on it don't actually operate. That is the safety though, which you push through from this side to put the gun into fire. Put it back again. On the underside of the metal bracket here that holds the locks the stock, you press the button in at the bottom, it will fold over and pops in there. So there you can then operate it two-handed, okay, using that front. And again, you can fire it single-handed, pistol style. So it's a versatile gun with many ways to handle it. As you see, it has a nice realistic styling. It is plastic and it does feel a little plasticky, but at the price point that this is now selling, sort of sub £70 or around the £70 mark on a gun that originally retailed at around £150, you know, I feel it's something of a bargain. So there's no gaudy lettering on it other than serial number. There's no white lettering all over the gun. It's festooned with Picatinny rails, or 20mm rail here. You've got one on the side if you wanted to mount a flashlight rather. You've got a Picatinny or 20mm rail underneath there that you could fit a laser sight or a torch. And you've got a top 20mm rail running pretty much the full length of the top plate of the gun there, and that makes this gun stand out in that you can then easily fit a holographic laser sight like this one. So this is an aftermarket add-on by me, and these sell for around the £20 or £25 mark, so great value, and transform the gun into a really good, fun, plinking gun for all the family again. So everybody going to have the fun of reliably and simply hitting tin can sized targets and smaller at 10 metres. So it doesn't take a great deal of skill, and it does provide heaps of fun for everybody. Gamo also sell this particular pistol, the MP9 pistol, with a silencer that will fit on to the muzzle there. I haven't actually used it, but I don't believe it actually operates as a silencer. And so for me, for the considerable extra cost of that kit, I think that's a bit of a gimmick and a waste. I'd say unless you really have got to have that look of the suppressor on the front there, and it is only a look, I think, much better to spend your money on a holographic laser sight to fit on that top rail, or of course you've also got the option of putting the standard red dot laser sight on the bottom rail, torch on the top rail if you'd like. You know, there's a lot of possibilities with this pistol. So from a very low starting cost, you could add a couple of laser sights to this, get yourself a few cylinders and some pellets, and be shooting for less than, say, £120, something in that order, £110. So really good fun gun, and yes, I highly recommend it. So what's it like to fire? Well, I'll just say we've got a few left in there, so that's the reason you've got to turn these magazines. You've always got to check them, and again, I'd say I would love it if they could manufacture them with that section there being in clear plastic, so that you could see right through and assure yourself that all the chambers are empty. So I'm not going to be doing chrono testing, because as I've explained on other videos, I don't think there's any real point in doing that, mainly because the CO2 cylinders, we don't know what the start pressure in the cylinder is. We don't know how much the pressure has dropped, because we don't have pressure gauges on these guns. So it's a pretty meaningless thing to start quoting feet per second with a particular pellet, since we don't know what the cylinder pressure is. So, and again, me showing you what a poor shot I am with it is not going to be helpful either. All I can tell you is that in the time I've been shooting it, hitting a 50mm diameter target at 10 meters is child's play. You have got a long rifled barrel, steel barrel in this pistol. When I say long, it's going to run from there to there. It is accurate. It's probably the most accurate of the CO2 blowback style pistols that I have. I can just pop the magazine in now and talk through the look, how it feels to operate it. So magazine going in, press it in, wait for the click, you know that it's now ready to fire. Remember, I went through this magazine carefully to ensure that there are no pellets in there, and I'm going to point it into a safe direction before pulling the trigger. So don't beat me up, please. I've just clicked the safety through. I've got the red dot there, so I know it's ready to fire. If this was first time round, I'd pull the charging handle too. Now, I'll just describe the feel. So the blade goes back in first of all inside that trigger. You can feel the magazine. You heard a click as the magazine rotated. Okay, so it's a nice, again, the rotation of the magazine, you can feel. Now there's a steady pull on there, probably about 4 pounds. So I find it one of the nicer triggers on all of the pistols I have. Now, because you can't access this end of the barrel, you can't use a pull through and pull through a patch to clean it, but there is a simple way around it, which I've showed on other videos, which are these little felt wads. So you simply take one of the wads, insert it into the magazine in place of a pellet. These are 177 size, and fire that. You may want to fire one or two through the gun. At the end of a session, will just clear any debris and let in from the barrel. So it's a simple way to keep the barrel clean when you can't access it with a pull through. The pull through would be my normal go-to way for cleaning this pistol. As for ammunition for this gun, I don't think that these guns warrant spending out on top quality pellets. You are plinking, at the end of the day, you're just plinking at 10 yards. A reasonable quality pellet can be had quite cheaply. And here's an example. These Excite brand are manufactured by H&N in Germany. They're very good quality pellets, I would say, in terms of the manufacturing quality of them. You can't see it at this distance easily. I'd have to fit a macro lens, but I can assure you there's no seams on them. They're nicely formed, good skirts, and these can be had for £5 to £6 a tin. So about half the price of, or a bit less than half the price of JSB Exacts. So shooting in a target rifle, yes, JSB Exact. But for this sort of gun, these are the Excite Flathead Econ 2 pellets. They work well, they cycle well in the gun. No need to throw money away on high quality pellets when it's not really justified. So these are adequate. The Excite brand has a round head and a pointed. I don't think you need to think about pointed. They're more of a hunting pellet. But I've ordered some of the round head to look at those as well. But these I've ordered more of because I rate these. They're grouping well and they're cheap and cheerful. What's not to like? So as a roundup, the good and the bad points about this pistol. Well, the good points are you're getting a lot of gun for very little money. The folding stock feels a bit flimsy and bit of a gimmick, but it actually comes with a really solid metal hinge point there. It locks firmly in place. If they could have just added a little bit of extruded metal in the construction of the folding stock in this arm, if they'd have included a little bit of folded alloy extrusion in there in the moulding on either side, they would have produced a stellar folding stock. So, you know, they've got to cut the costs somehow to produce the gun at this price point, and that's one of the areas where it shows up. But it's still usable, and it still gives you that option of firing from the shoulder, head up, through a holographic sight. It's got oodles. I haven't counted the inches, but there's what, about 6 or 7 inches of 20mm rail there, 4 inches there, 3 inches there. You know, you've got oodles of space for mounting. You can fit a stylized suppressor or moderator on the front purely for looks. You can fit a whole range of sights, lights and other accessories on the gun. Great fun. Downsides, well, very few really, and it seems picky at this price point to look for the downsides, but that's the only real one that I can say there. They could have made the arm of the folding stock a little stiffer there. This is another one. It just feels out of place with the rest of the gun. That the dummy magazine there that extends out of the handle just feels like it doesn't belong. It's not quite the same quality as the rest of the polymer body. So that's a slight letdown. But again, you know, I'm being ultra picky here. The major problem I had with it is that this is actually the third model that I've had. I bought mine, as I said, from a Sportsman Gun Centre in Exeter, UK, and couple of days later I fired it and it wasn't firing properly, so whether it was a problem with the hammer or the valve, not sure, but it wasn't releasing CO2 in large enough quantities, so it wasn't firing. So I had to take it back. The staff at the shop were, I can't compliment them enough, they were very happy to take it back and just exchange it for me. Came back and tried that one. It was almost as bad. It wasn't firing properly. Again, same issue. Either the valve or the hammer not striking the valve with enough force. I'm not sure which. But I could, when it fired, I could actually see the pellets limp down range. So if you can see them, you can pretty much assume that they're travelling very slowly. So I had to take that one back. At that point, I was thinking, well, look, the smart move is just to take a refund, put it down to experience and walk away. But I'm so glad I didn't, because this now, the third version that I brought home, again, I can't compliment the staff enough. They were very kind, very understanding, happy to exchange it for me. And this third version has worked flawlessly. It's so fingers crossed, but it has to this point worked brilliantly. It's great fun. My wife likes this best of all the pistols. She prefers shooting this one. She's confident and relaxed with it, and she can probably outshoot me with it as well. So it's great fun for a plinking range. Can I recommend it? Yes, wholeheartedly. I have given you fair warning on the sort of reliability issue, but if you can live with that, and you may have to take accept that you may have to take the gun back, as I did, or maybe I was just unlucky. But if I was unlucky, I was unlucky twice. It's a cracker of a gun when you get a working model, so do I recommend it? Yes. Okay, that's it. If you like quick and dirty reviews and you like to see the guns before you toddle off to the shop to buy them, you might want to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well next to the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, and YouTube will then send you an email notification when I upload new content. I've got a few of these pistols and I'll be no doubt buying more because they're good fun. So I'll review them as I buy them. I'll also review pellets, the cases. I've got a separate review on the Flambeau range of pistol cases. Anything like that I'll be reviewing. Like if you like it, don't if you don't like it. Okay, bye.